Hey guys, it's Jenkins here, and I wanted to share with you the 4 reasons for why a company will create a job for you. And the reason why that's interesting is sometimes those are the very best jobs that you can get, the ones that are designed specifically for you. So I'm about an hour and a half outside of Oslo, Norway, on a mountainside in Nordfjord, where I wanted to do a quick demonstration of what those 4 reasons look like by using a twig. That's right, a twig for this demonstration. So the 4 reasons come from Tim Clark, author of the book Business Model U. And in that book, he describes these 4 reasons as PINT, P-I-N-T. So you can think of a PINT as your reason for getting a job created for you. Now, there have been many jobs created over a PINT, but PINT actually stands for the 4 reasons. So let's start off with the first reason, which is P. P stands for problems. Right? Very often a company will have some kind of problem, right, where there's a disconnect with what's happening. They have an expectation of what things should be like, but in fact they're underperforming. So let's say that's a product launch, and they go ahead and launch the product, and all of a sudden the revenue numbers are far below what they expected. This creates an opportunity for you to come in and address the problem. So as you get in touch with managers, with executives in your job search, you can identify what problems they're dealing with in their company in order to find opportunities for you to get a job created for you. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on to the second one. The second one here is issues. Now, when we look at issues, they sound similar to problems, but in fact, nothing is wrong. But instead, what's happening is that the company is forced to take a different direction because of something happening environmentally. So let's take a look. This little branch here is our issue. I'll give you an example that we can all relate to. See, corporate regulations, regulations, rules and regulations are the most common reason for why we have issues inside of companies. And if you take corporate social responsibility as a specific example, the companies used to perform like such, and all of a sudden rules and regulations from the government force them to hire a position that have them go in a different direction. Things like sustainability, being green, and so forth, that were not top of the agenda 10 years ago, are now top of mind for companies because of issues, and that is from environmental forces around that cause a change in direction, okay? So here's your example of hiring someone for corporate social responsibility and helping the company achieve a different direction based on rules and regulations. So now we've gotten problems and issues. The next example here is needs. Now, when you think about needs, chances are a company has an annual report and they produce a list of their needs that makes it very easy for you to find out exactly what needs they have. So let me see here. Let me see if I can hold my twigs here under my arm. Let's say, example, the company is launched this annual report or has simply published its plans for the upcoming quarters, and they're on this trajectory. But what they realize is that the board requires a certain level of growth for them. Let's say an additional 10, 20, 30% revenue growth. Uh-oh. We can't keep things status quo. In fact, what we need to do now is get up to this point in performance. And so when a company has to move from where they are today to where they need to be, there are often needs that are created here to help them close that gap. So could you come in and provide marketing assistance, sales assistance, R&D development that'll help find products to get them to this point up here? So needs is the third reason for why a company will create jobs just for you. Let's move on to the fourth reason here, which is around T, for trends, right? Trends are changing our companies all the time and creating amazing opportunities. But what kind of trends are interesting in your market space where you're searching for a job? Let's take a look at this little branch here. Do you see how it splits off into a Y? What ended up happening, let's give you an example you probably can relate to. I'll flip it this way so it doesn't get in my face. The example in the technology space that has completely transformed the industry would be things like software as a service, cloud, mobile, right? All these things have influenced the direction of technology and taken it into new places that we weren't expecting. And unfortunately, and I'll be kind of frank here, I work for a company that was in this path but did not recognize these trends and ended up falling off the trend here because they didn't capture the opportunity and see that they needed to hire a new set of talent to achieve this new upcoming trend. So the 4 different reasons for why a company will create an opportunity for you. The first one is problem, right? Things aren't the way they should be. Number 2 is going to be Issues. Those are usually environmental, around rules and regulations. Something's changed and is forcing us to do something differently, and we have to hire people in order to help us to achieve that new change we need to have. The next one is needs. We're here, we need to get here, and how are we going to achieve that? We need some new thinking, some new talent in order to do that. And lastly is trends, okay? Trends are environmental factors, again, that could be, excuse me, technology related very often, but could be other things that you're aware of in your market space that can create opportunities for you. So how do you use these 4 bits of information, these 4 reasons for why a company will create a job for you? The next time you're having an interview with a manager, you can investigate around PINT. I wouldn't bring up the word, but I would definitely come up with a line of questions around the problems, needs, issues, and trends that that company is facing. And that'll help you identify exactly where you can place your talents inside that company. Now, if you found this helpful, you may want to join an upcoming webinar here, which I'll be presenting how to tap into the unadvertised job market using a technique that landed me 34 interviews in just 5 weeks. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure to drop in either on the top in the description or below in the comments. You'll see an address where you can join the webinar. It's a free webinar, complimentary, but you'll learn the exact same technique that got me from behind the computer looking at job boards all day to getting into 34 interviews in just 5 weeks alone. So I look forward to seeing you there. Hope this was helpful, and until then, take care.